Hey sourcers and recruiters out there, Tony Stemen here, research consultant with the Novo Group, and I'm back with another sourcing tips video. This week we're doing part 3 of the LinkedIn X-ray search. Now if you haven't gotten a chance to watch part 1, I do encourage you to go back and watch both part 1 and part 2 to make sure that you have all the information before jumping into part 3. So let's go to part 3, which I like to call a focus on keywords or keyword magic. So let's go ahead and dive in with just a quick reminder of our structure. Every LinkedIn X-ray search string has 3 parts. The X-ray command, which is site:/linkedin.com, no spaces. The keyword section, which these are the words that you want to pull back in your search string, so you can call it the keyword targeting. And then the not keyword section, and these are the keywords that you do not want to return in your search, so you minus them out. Now my number one rule in sourcing is to think like the tool. If you can't think like the tool that you're using and how it's structured, you're not going to be very successful sourcing with that tool. So when looking at LinkedIn X-ray search, we want to be able to wrap our minds around the way that LinkedIn works. So LinkedIn, if you think about your own LinkedIn profile, it has a structure to it, right? It has your name, of course, a job title, a company name, an industry, a location where you work, skills that you have, maybe certifications that you have, your education, and then of course your general profile information. So I want to encourage you to begin thinking like the tool when you do your sourcing. How do the candidates that I'm targeting fit into these profile structures? And then really begin to target some of the different sections. Now I want you to get creative and think about all these different sections and how you can really take off with them, but for now I'm just going to highlight a couple. The first keyword focus I want to highlight is industry. How do we really mine candidates by targeting their industry on LinkedIn? Well, as I mentioned before, LinkedIn categorizes their candidates by industry. You can find an industry list in the LinkedIn company directory. Now I've included a link here on the screen of where you can find that, but I'll also include a clickable link in the description below. I encourage you to go there, find out where the clients are that you work for and what industry they're categorized in. Just an example of how I might use this in my search string is I might include a wildcard to fill in any words that I don't know of in the industry, or to save on some keywords in my search string. And as you can see here, within quotation marks I write the word industry space wildcard space management consulting. And so here I want to go ahead and target any candidates that work in the management consulting industry, because management consulting is one of the categories that LinkedIn uses to place its candidates in order, or its profiles in order. Now another area I want to focus on is keyword focus for location. Now as I mentioned before, each profile on LinkedIn includes a candidate location. Some of the locations are simply listed as maybe the city and state, while others include a larger metro area. So for example, some candidates in Chicago might have Chicago, Illinois listed, while other ones have the greater Chicago area, which covers the metro area. So as you can imagine, if I'm targeting candidates in Chicago, I want to make sure that I include every candidate in both of those areas. So I would open up a parentheses and create an or statement. I would open up quotation marks within that parentheses and I would say location space wildcard Chicago, close quotation marks, and that's going to target people in the greater Chicago area, and it's going to autofill for the word greater. And then I'm going to do the bar, which we know to be the or statement, open up another quotation mark and just do straight location space Chicago, close quotation mark, close parentheses. I've created my or statement encompassing candidates who live not only in Chicago, Illinois, but in the greater Chicago area. And that's a cool little trick you can do to make sure you're maximizing the amount of candidates who are coming back. The next area I want to focus on is certification. So candidates often list, as we know, certifications or skills in their profile or in their title. So you can obviously target these two different ways. You can target the profile or you can target the title. So you want to do these kind of separately. So first of all, if you want to focus on certifications that might be listed in their profile, you include the abbreviation and the full certification title within an or statement. If you're searching for the certification within their title, you use the entitle command within your search string. So here's some examples of what I mean. So first of all, the keyword focus on certification. Again, we're kind of continuing here. If we're targeting certifications in the profile, I'm going to create an OR statement that has both the abbreviation or the full spelled out certification. So for example, PMP or Project Management Professional. That will pull back candidates that have both PMP or Project Management Professional. Say that 10 times fast in their profile, and that's exactly what we want. Now say we want to do a title search for people that might have, if I was a PMP, I would put Tony Stemen PMP in my title on LinkedIn. At least some candidates do. So we can target those candidates by doing an in-title search within our keyword section of our search string structure when doing X-ray searches. So I would put in title : PMP, no spaces, and what it would do is target any candidate profile that has PMP listed as a certification in the title on their LinkedIn page. So that's it for this week's video on how to use LinkedIn X-ray search focusing on keywords. Let's go ahead and dive over to a live example of how to use some of these techniques. Here we go. Okay, so here we are in Google with our live example for the week, and first you're going to notice we have our structure set up appropriately. We have the site linkedin.com as our X-ray command, and then we have all of our keywords, and then we have the things that are minused out. Now, since we're focusing this week on keywords, and I want to show you highlights of everything that we covered concerning keywords. So first of all, we're looking at location. So for this example, I'll be looking at a project management professional in the Chicago area who also is from the building materials industry. And so this is combining all of the 3 keyword focuses that we learned for this week. So here's exactly how I explained it. I have location Chicago or location wildcard Chicago, which brings back candidates both in the greater Chicago area or in Chicago, Illinois. So you can see this down here, greater Chicago area and also Chicago, Illinois. Now the next part is my certification, Project Management Professional, PMP, or I have it spelled out, Project Management Professional. This is going to pull back candidates that have this certification but have it written differently on their profile. So here you'll see in Rose Lynn's profile PMP, and here down here in Deborah's we have Project Management Professional. So I'm pulling back the maximum amount of candidates needed for this search. The next thing I want to focus on is industry. Say I am Owens Corning and I'm trying to recruit people for maybe a Johns Manville. So that means I have to focus on the building materials industry. So what I want to do is go to the company directory that I pointed out in the training video and find out where those companies are. Well, I know that they both do building materials, and so this is how LinkedIn categorizes the candidate profiles within this industry under building materials. And when I click onto that, I should be able to see some of the different companies and geographic locations. Another thing that I can do is I can go to LinkedIn if I want to find out what a company is in, and I can type it into look up their company page. So for example, Owens Corning, and you can see underneath there building materials. So that's the industry that they're in, and that's how I find out what the industry is. So how do I plug that into my search string? Well, if I want to target candidates in the building materials industry, I'm going to open up a quotation mark, as I mentioned, do industry space to save on keywords, wildcard, space, materials, and it will automatically fill in the word building. And then I'm going to go ahead and minus out the things that I don't want in my search string. So I'm targeting Chicago land candidates who are project management professionals in the building materials industry. So I'll just click onto one profile here. Here's Rose Lynn, greater Chicago area, building materials industry, project management professional. Now, as I also mentioned, for certifications, I don't have to write it out to target what's in their profile. I can also target people who have it listed in their title. And all I'm going to do is replace these project management keywords with in title. PMP. When I do that and hit enter, now I only have 2 results here, but you'll see in the title of each of these results it has PMP for Project Management Professional. So those are some ways you can be creative with keywords in your LinkedIn X-ray search. I encourage you to mix and match and try your best to see what you can come up with, because the possibilities are really endless. Once again, this has been Tony Stemen, Research Consultant with the Novo Group. I hope you've learned a lot from this series. Next week we'll be back with how to use RSS feeds to stay up on the latest research and sourcing information. Make sure you like and follow the Novo Group on all social media links, which you can find in the description below, and we'll see you on next week's Sourcing Tips video.